Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Today is April 14th. It's a Monday, and I am starting out this week working on my Springo call. The Springo call for today was number 20, and my number 20 is in my O column, which is for my ornament. So I pulled out my stocking ornament that I've been working on for this Springo game, and I'm working on the fourth one, which is for calling birds. And I've been able to work on it once before for this challenge, so this is the second call on it. So I knew I needed to put at least 100 stitches in it, but for me, I want to finish this ornament this month. So since there are 4 birds, and there's a potential of me having it called 5 times, I wanted to at least get it to where I could finish it in 4 to 5 times, because I'm not guaranteed that it'll be called all of those. But anyway, so I had kind of in my head divided it up into each of the birds, and so that the first time it was called, I wanted to do this across the top and the 4, which I did. The second time I did the bird. This time I did the branch under that bird and this bird. It doesn't have a branch under him. So there'll be another bird right here with more greenery, and then a 4th bird in the bottom in the toe. So today I went ahead and put in 189 stitches to get all of this branch done and to get all of the bird done. So now I have the 2 calling birds finished of the 4, and I'll put it away again so that I can wait for it to be called, hopefully, again this month. And the good news is this is one that would be easy for me to take with me on my travels. So even if it's called while I'm gone, I'll be able to work on it, which will be wonderful. So now I can mark that square complete, and I love it. Mine is really getting a lot of coverage across the whole board. I've got at least 2 in each one, except for the N, which is my Somewhere by the Sea, just Nan. Maybe if I'll be lucky, they'll call that again, one of those numbers, before I leave town, and I can have another one of those done. But I wanted to color this in so I could kind of show you how my board is looking. There we go. So as you can see, I'm getting closer to a couple of bingos. I only need 2 here. The rest of them, I need at least 3, it looks like. But look how they're all spread out. They're just, even though I'll have, in this one, I've got 4 in a row, but there's 7 across. So it takes a little bit of effort to get the bingo. I heard a rumor that someone was about to have a bingo, and I don't know who it was, but it wasn't me. I'm still a pretty good ways away from my bingo. So I appreciate you letting me share that with you, and I'm going to get busy now. I've got some errands to run. I wanted to get my stitching done before I left the house, and so I've got a few errands to run, and then I can get back and stitch some more this afternoon. Coco and I had a nice walk this morning. It was a little chilly, so I put my sweater on, but hopefully I can shed it today. It's supposed to get very warm today here. I'm looking forward to that, so I'll keep you posted. I have a goal today to catch up on my first part of my temperature tree for this month, and so I'd like to do that this afternoon if I can. And then I have Zoom call tonight, so I get to find something to stitch for that as well. That may be when I do my temperature tree. But I would like to pick up Nativity and get started on my 500 stitches in Nativity, because that one I haven't touched yet this month, and I want to do that. So that may be this afternoon's assignment. In the meantime, happy stitching, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. It is much later on April the 14th, about 10:30 at night. I just got off my Zoom call with my friends, and I am thrilled to tell you that throughout the day, as soon as I finished working on my Springo call for this morning, which I shared with you earlier, I started working on Nativity. I wanted to get my 500 stitches in for this month. And I'll remind you, I'm working on the Nativity from Teresa Wentzler. And today I put in 520 stitches, and I want to share that with you now. Here's where it is. So I did two major things today. Number one, I did all of the hay on this side of the manger. There'll be a little bit right in here and a little bit right here, but the bulk of it was right here. And I didn't do the back stitching yet because I haven't back stitched anything below the angel, but I need to go back and do some of that. But I did finish that hay, and I was kind of dreading it because it's confetti heavy. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors that are almost in the same family, as you can see there. But I got all of that in, and then I came over to this border, and there are, you probably can't see them, but there are these little tiny eyelet stitches right in here, little tiny ones. They're over 1. And so I had them down to right here. So tonight I put in all the eyelet stitches here and here, and I hit 520, so I stopped. I still have to go on this side. I haven't put any of the eyelet stitches in, so the next time I stitch on this, I will probably start right there and get all that done so that these two are at least done to the same completion. And then I need to do the rest of the cross stitching in the borders here, and then I can either back stitch to get down to here, or I can go ahead and stitch that manger. I'm avoiding it. As you can tell, I'm avoiding it. I could go ahead and stitch that so that everything I had left would be border or back stitch. So that may be the wise thing to do. I don't know. But I know tonight I tackled this first, and I'm so delighted to have it done. And then I came over here and put work in the border. So I may do that each time. Do so much stitching on part of the cross stitching and then go do some border or back stitch, just so that I can break it up a little bit. But doing this one completed all of my monthly requirements for this month. And I was really working hard to get that done before we traveled. So I didn't have that kind of on the back of my mind worrying about it. So now that means I have to stitch on my December quilt, both for an acrostic, and then, well, for an acrostic, that's all. And then I have to stitch on Santa's Workshop for my daily 30 and my 24 hours of cross stitch. And then my final daily 30 component is Let Love Reign, and I need 300 stitches in that one. So I have decided that since I'm using elf, the E in Santa's Workshop, the elf, for both my daily 30 and my 24 hours of cross stitch, I have a coupon that I earned and in the daily 30 group, and that allows me to stitch 100 stitches and count it to 300. So I think I'm going to use that coupon tomorrow so that I only have to do 100 stitches in Santa's Workshop, because I don't even know what the call is for tomorrow yet for my Springo stitching, but I need to get that done too. And perhaps if I use the coupon, I could get both of those done, and that would be really, really good. And then I would only have December quilt to stitch for 24 hours of cross stitch, which means I could stitch any amount I want and I'd be fine with that. But then I have 300 stitches for Let Love Rain, and I would like to put 300 stitches in it. I want to push it forward. So there you have it. That's what's coming up in the next couple of days. So that'll be great. But Nativity is coming along, and I am tickled to death to have gotten that much done tonight. And my husband actually came to the bottom of the stairs tonight, and he said, are you talking? Because I'm not hearing anything. I was Zooming with some stitching friends, and we were all stitching. We were, one of us was working on a border for a square for Hawk Run Hollow, and they were determined to get that finished before they got off the call. And I was trying so hard to hit my 500 stitches to finish it in Nativity tonight, and to finish that hay part particularly. And so I got both of those done, and I was really, really excited about that. So that we were quiet. You know, we were talking a little, but we were not talking maybe as lively as we normally do, because we were all doing some pretty serious stitching. So that was okay. I will let you know tomorrow, hopefully, how the stitching goes. I have a big day tomorrow. I get to talk to and stitch with two stitchy friends tomorrow during the day, and then tomorrow night I have a Zoom call again, and this is with a group of ladies that we do our planning together. So this is in the early part of the month, so this is when we just sort of give our updates on how we're doing, how our goals are going that we discussed at the end of the month that we were going to try to do. And so that'll be good. That'll be tomorrow night. And that'll be another opportunity for me to stitch. And I'm hoping that I will have already finished my Springo stitch and my elf stitch so that I could work on my temperature tree while I'm talking on the phone and not have to be so concentrated on something hard or difficult. But anyway, there you go. My monthly requirement has been met on my Nativity, and I cannot tell you how happy that makes me. It's just coming along so beautifully, and 500 stitches makes a big difference. You can really see that you've got something done. So I am excited about that. Looking forward to working on it again next month and seeing how far I can get on it. So in the meantime, everybody, I hope you're having a great start to your week, and I'll talk to you again soon. Happy stitching. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. It is the 15th of April. Happy Tax Day. I hope you've turned yours in if you're in the States. So today's Springo call was once again for my Peacock. My number wound up in the space that is in the P column right here, number 29. So third time I've been able to work on that one. I'll remind you what this is going to look like when I finish it. And today I did 116 stitches more in the tail. I put in more of the color that I had started in the tail, and I added a second color all the way across to here so I could put more blue in. And so I'm still working on the main part, which is the bird. Now, this one has 2 more times it can be called, so we'll see if it is. Anyway, I was kind of chuckling to myself when that was called because I thought, wow, who would have thought I put this in here to get some extra stitches in it, and I sure am getting the chance to do that, which is wonderful. So I'm going to close it up so it doesn't fall out. And then I decided to take a look at what I had left for my acrostics, because I've done all of my monthly goals for the month. And I had 2 letters left in my daily 30, and I had a couple of letters left in the 24 hours of cross stitch. And so I have a coupon that I can use in the Daily 30 to give me a 200 stitch discount. I get to count 200 stitches that I don't stitch. So you earn that if you do all 10 of the letters in the acrostic the month before. So I got that to use. So I decided to apply it to Santa's Workshop. And this is Santa's Workshop, and I started down here on the bottom border when I got started. And today I put in 169 stitches because I needed at least 100 because I had a 200 stitch discount. But I went ahead and ran my thread out, and I was talking to a friend on the phone, kind of checking in with her, and I just kept stitching until the thread was gone. So let me show you what I was doing in this border. It may be a little bit hard to see, but I hope you can see the light yellow that's running along here. I actually finished that color all the way across the bottom, and then I came back across the top until I had 169 stitches and ran out of thread and said, okay, I have enough stitches and I've run out of thread, and so the next time I pick it up, I can start up here to finish that color out, and then I can pick the next color. I'm kind of doing the typewriter method on that. So that's the rest of that bottom border. I will not be stitching the color that goes in here because I've put my buttons on here and they fill it up completely, because this is grafted for 28 count and I'm using 32, and so there's no color that shows through in that little square, so there's no need to stitch it if it's not going to show up. So I'm just going to put my buttons, there are buttons in the corners, Jim Shore buttons, and I'm just going to put those in there. So that is the stitching I have done so far today. I am tickled. I'm very tickled to have that much done. I got my Springo stitching accomplished, and I got one of my acrostic letters finished in both acrostics that I had 2 left. So now in the Daily 30, I need a K for cruel work, the last letter. And I had said I was going to do Teresa Kogut's Let Love Rain. So I'm probably going to do that. I've already done Teresa Kogut's Hope and Love. And so they, and I did it for the word love. If you use the same piece, they want it to be for different things. So I actually could use it probably for the K, because that would be for her last name instead of part of the title. So I very well may do that as well. That's my other option for that. And then I have to stitch on my December quilt for 24 hours of cross stitch, which means I don't have a minimum number of stitches. I can stitch however much I want, and I'll have that met. So that'll be great. I have a Zoom call tonight. So I may be working on one of those 2 during my Zoom call, or I might be working on my temperature tree, and then I might be doing the border around my last square to put in for Hawk Run Hollow, because the border is very easy to do when you're on a Zoom call. So I may pick that up and do that tonight. So I've got 2 fairly easy stitches with my temperature chart and my border on Hawk Run Hollow that I may make happen while I'm Zooming tonight. So we shall see. And if so, I'll share that with you tomorrow. But I just wanted to come by and say hello. This is what I've been stitching. This is what I've been working on. I hope you've had a good day. I hope that all of your information and news you've gotten today was positive and encouraging. And I hope you're going through the week well, that you're healthy. So many people are having terribly, terribly difficult times right now with their health. And so just know that you're thought of and you're prayed for, and know that we're thinking of you, pulling for you, sending you positive thoughts and energy. And we'll go from there. Hopefully things will pick up. If they're kind of down for you right now, I hope they'll pick up. So either way, I hope that stitching is providing a wonderful relief for you, a fabulous fun time for you, a great source of therapy for you. It is for me. I love it. So anyway, happy stitching, everybody, and I'll talk to you soon. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. This is Dina. Today is Wednesday. It is the 16th of April, and I want to catch you up on stitching that I did yesterday afternoon, evening, during my afternoon time, and my on into when I was Zooming last night with my planning buddies. And then I'll talk about plans for the rest of today. So, yesterday, after I finished my stitching for my Springo call, I decided it was time to catch up my temperature tree because I had not touched it since the end of March, and here it was the 15th of April yesterday. So I have half a month of April done now. That top branch is done for the half of the month of April that we've been through. And so I am really tickled about that and delighted to have gotten that caught up. And to catch it up, it actually took 169, no, wait a minute. Okay, let's try again. To catch it up, it took 136 stitches. I have my little notes over here where I was counting my stitches yesterday. And so that was great. That didn't take me that long, and I was able to get it caught up and finished, and now I can put it over in the cabinet until the end of the month. I've decided just to do it twice a month. It doesn't take long, and I can get it all done at one time, and and I'm taking care of it at that point. Okay, so the last thing I did is I wanted to get things ready for my trip. I have already worked on my Hope and Love, and I've gotten an entire house outlined and all the windows and the door outlined to take with me for stitching at the retreat. So I thought it would be fun to take my Hawk Run Hollow with me on this trip. I got it off the roller frame now. It's on a Q-snap since my last trip. And I had finished my block in April. Instead of doing half the block, I did the whole block. But since I'll be taking it with me, I thought, well, it would be nice to have the block already outlined so I could just fill in everything that goes in the block. So I just want to show you, I did it. It was 365 stitches, but that is what I did during my Zoom call. I finished it right at the end of the Zoom call, and I was tickled to death to have been able to get that much done on it. So now, my call for today is the number 1 in Springo, and for me that is in the I column, so that's going to be Isabella's Garden, and this will be the 4th time that I've stitched on her, so I'm pretty excited about that. Can't wait to put some stitches into Isabella's Garden. And depending on how much time I have today, the next thing I would really like to do is to pull out my December quilt and put a few stitches in it, because it is the last letter I need in the 24 hours of cross stitch acrostic. And I would love to get that taken care of today if I can. And if not, I'll do it tomorrow. But I do have a stitcher friend coming tomorrow, Lord willing, and we will spend the day together. So if I haven't finished it before the end of today, then I know I can work on it tomorrow. And then the last acrostic I need is for the letter K, and for that I'm using Teresa Kogut's Let Love Rain, and that's one that I have to put 300 stitches in, which is great because I want to put a chunk into that one every time I stitch on it if I can. I don't know what the call will be for tomorrow, but I am hopeful that I can start on my Let Love Rain either tomorrow or Friday and get it done before we leave town. And then I would feel so awesome to be able to go on my trip and know that all my monthly requirements are met, all my acrostics are finished, and I can literally just stitch on whatever I want to take with me just to put more stitches in. And that is good because my friend Marissa and I plan on having a retreat start together. And so that'll be something I want to put a lot of time into while I'm there to commemorate that. And so we'll see how things go. But I just wanted to come by and let you know what I've been doing sort of to catch up with my temperature treat and to prepare for the retreat with my Hog Run Hollow. And I will continue to decide what I'm taking with me. I've got a preliminary list, and I'll see if that's what I decide in the end that I'm going to do. I hope you're having a great week. We're hump day, if you remember the old commercial with the camel, that it's hump day, and that's awesome. So happy stitching to you, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. It is later on the 16th of April, and I wanted to share with you that I have completed my Springo stitch for the day, and I have completed my stitching for my final letter in my 24 hours of cross stitch acrostic. So, woohoo! That's a great day. Great accomplishment. I'll remind you of what Isabella's garden looks like. And this is the call for my Springo today. It fell in my column I, which is for Isabella's garden. And I actually wound up putting 103 stitches more in her hair. Her hair's still going. It's a lot of different colors. So today's color was this lightest blonde that we have in there right now. And that was 103 stitches in that. So it is going slow, about 100 stitches at a time, but that's okay. It's a new start, and I'm just getting movement in there, as it's called, and I'm not rushing to get that one done. But that got my Springo stitches done. And then the last thing I wanted to do for 24 hours of cross stitch was the letter D in the acrostic meander along. And this one I did December quilt, which is this quilt right here for my friend who collects Raggedy Ann dolls. And today I was able to work more just going on to the edge from the center out. I'm going this direction, and then I'll go this direction, and then I'll go down. So I moved on. Here's the head of the doll. I moved on over, and I did the first post in the railing, the stair railing there. And I did actually 3 colors in that, and that came up to 110 stitches in that little piece. And because I need to get ready for guests tomorrow, and I have some planning I need to do about what to take with me and all, I decided that was going to be enough for now. I usually try to do 200 stitches when I'm doing an acrostic that I don't have a minimum on, but today I just needed to get that done. Mentally, I just wanted to have that done. So when my friend comes tomorrow, I'll pull out my Let Love Rain, and I'll try to get my 300 stitches in it so that I can say done and dusted for all of my requirements, and I'll be ready to do whatever I want and enjoy my travels without any pressure, without any feeling that I need to be doing something, which I think will be very important for me. And I put up my Easter decorations. I hadn't even done it yet, and Easter's coming up, what, a week away? It's the latest I've ever been in putting up Easter decorations. I had taken down most of my Valentine's decorations. I had put up a few of my St. Patty's Day decorations just in the hallway on my entryway. That was the only place I even bothered to do that. So I had a few Valentine things left over in the dining room. I had taken away the March St. Patty's Day stuff, so there was nothing in the hallway. And then I had cleaned off the mantle for my husband because he was running the fireplace for a little bit. He didn't want to melt anything or catch anything on fire. And so it was bare throughout 2 or 3 months while we were running the fireplace. And so now he's through with that, and he said I could decorate the mantle again. So today I put up Easter, and I'll put in a little clip for you, just a short clip, just showing you the mantle and maybe the little entryway piece of furniture that I try to decorate, and the beginnings of my table in the dining room for our Easter. It's probably just going to be my husband and I for Easter, and but that's okay, and I still want it to look kind of pretty and festive. So I've got that done today. So boy, I've gotten a lot done today. I'm very pleased. Well, here is the Easter mantle, and just got it put up today. I know it's getting close, but hadn't had a chance to do that. So there's no more chocolate bunnies, Peep, I can't remember that one. It's the Mirabilia. Gathering Eggs, I think, is the name of it. New Beginnings. I don't remember that one either. Anyway, there's the mantle. Here's the front entrance. Well, the other thing we did, my husband and I went to Lowe's and picked up some switchblade covers, because the people we bought our house from must have done some work in the kitchen at one time, because the actual plugs themselves were a almond color, but their surrounding covers were bright white. And so you had two-tone everything in the kitchen, in the electrical outlets and the light switches and stuff. And so my husband and I went today and got the almond colored everything. We're not replacing any of the plugs or the switches. We're just replacing the cover that goes over them and turning it all almond so that they all match. I don't know. It was strange. Anyway, we finally took the time to do that. So my husband will be putting those up as well. And then I think I might actually be able to give you some pictures of my kitchen. And I did get fabric to recover my chairs and to make new valances, but I don't have that done yet. I just got the fabric. I was getting afraid that Joanne would close on me, and so I ran up there and got the fabrics. They didn't have very much to choose from, and they had no upholstery fabric whatsoever that would work. So I had to just get some really nice cotton fabrics and hope for the best. So anyway, I won't tackle that till we get back from vacation. But anyway, we're getting there. We're getting a lot closer than we've been before to getting our kitchen back in order and working order, as they say. All right, have a great evening, and I hope to have more stitching to share with you tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Today is the 17th of April, and I am thrilled to be able to come this morning and let you know that I have finished stitching my Springo call for the day, and I am just minutes away from my friend Melody arriving. We're going to stitch together today, have lunch, catch up, probably talk our heads off, but it's going to be a fabulous day. I can't wait to see her. So my Springo call this morning was for number 15. And number 15 for me is in column S, right there at the top. And so you can see I've colored it in because I stitched it. And now look, I have even more opportunities for bingo. Here's a big one right here. I only need it one more time and I'll have a bingo there. But who knows? I may get one or two. We'll see. Still working at it. But I'll remind you, this is Spring Quaker. That is what my S stands for on my Springo board. And I am working on this big motif right here. So my goal for today, other than 100 stitches, was to finish this little section of the motif, this little corner. And I did. And it was 116 stitches. So I am thrilled to death with that. Let me be accurate, there are 3 stitches in here that I haven't done yet, because when I do this part in the middle right here, there's a whole section of that color, and I'm gonna wait and do that 3 little stitches when I'm doing them up here, and that way I don't have to pull out my Valdani and do 3 stitches and then end it again and put it back. I can wait till I pull it out, and then I'll go back up here and catch those 3 stitches. But for the most part, that's done. That was my goal, and plus the 100 stitches, and I was able to meet it with 116 to finish that part of the motif. So the next time I pull this out, there's a middle section here. I'll want to at least do that. And depending on how much time I have, I would like to finish this little motif right here. I think that would be great. And then I can keep moving across this way. I think she's beautiful. Her colors are absolutely gorgeous. So that is my Springo call for the 17th. And now the final thing I have to do for any of my stitching that's challenge related or acrostic or anything like that is I need to put 300 stitches in my Let Love Reign. And so I'm going to get that out now. It is on a roller frame, and it's on a roller frame floor stand, and it just so happens that Melody is the one who gifted me that floor stand. So I think it's kind of interesting that it worked out that I'll be working on it when she's here today, because I hadn't planned that on purpose. I didn't do it purposely so she would see me using it. I really just turned out that that's what I'm working on today. So my hope for today is to get those 300 stitches in, and that will complete all of my required stitching that I call my required stitching. Things that are planned that are called by prompts other than my daily Springo call. And I haven't mentioned bingo lately, but I do it when I have a special program like Springo. I just do my bingo call. My whole board just says whatever the Springo call is for today. And so doing my 100 stitches in Springo does the 100 stitches for bingo, but it lets me stay in the group, and it lets me stay active and see what everybody's working on without overloading me, because I wouldn't want to have 2 that I have to do 100 stitches on before I could do something else. So the group has been very kind and tolerant to let me do that. And so I'm thrilled that they're so flexible. Anyway, that's all for now, and hopefully I'll have more to share with you this evening. But I hope you have a great day. I know I will, and I'll talk to you soon. Happy stitching, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. This is Dina, and it is later on April the 17th, and I just wanted to get back with you and share with you some stitching that I got done later this afternoon. So I told you my friend Melody was coming, and we had a fabulous time. We talked and caught each other up and talked about our stitching plans, and Melody has some great plans for this year, and lots of games that she's going to participate in, and she showed me a couple of them, and she's got my interest piqued, I will admit, on a couple. So I'll have to think about that. And if I can't join in this year, at least next year, maybe I could incorporate some of her games into what I do. But today I was stitching on my last whip that I need for my daily 30 acrostic, which is crewel work. And this is for the K in crewel work. And it's Teresa Kogut's Let Love Reign. And I'm working over here on this last flower. I had finished the house, and so that's where I left off. So let me show you what I did. So I am happy to say I got the tree and the bird completely finished right here. Did that. Came up here and finished that flower I've been missing for a while, because the bird is in the same color, so I had it on the needle. That was great. Then I came down here and I started on this flower that's sideways here. And when I finished all of that, I had 309 stitches. So I needed 300 for my prompt in my daily 30 group. And so that met the prompt. And I'm going to go ahead now and put that aside, because I would like to go through now and make sure I have all of my table make gifts and my patterns picked out, my projects picked out to take with me when we leave on Monday, because today's Thursday and it's getting close. And Melody brought me some things to look through for me to take what I want and to use as door prizes with my stitching group or giveaways on my channel, whatever I wanted to do. And I need to go through those because they are calling my name over there for me to go check it out. That's all the home front news. So I'll talk to you soon. Happy stitching, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. It is Saturday. It is the 19th of April, and I'm here to tell you what I've been doing today. My Springo call for today, for the 19th, is number 13, and for me, that is G, and I call him G. There was my call for today, and I completed my stitching on it. I did 225 stitches on my Royal Games 2 to meet my Springo goal. So I came down here and I started meeting the waistline where the other queen is, and I followed some colors just all the way up to color complete that strand and started filling in colors from here all the way over to here. So it's just all these little ninja stitches. It was a good bit of confetti all in here, and so it did take a little while, but I got it done. And so she has now been called 3 times, and there are 2 more possibilities for her to be called. So I can mark that square complete and can go ahead and fill out my bingo call as well, because my bingo this month is just whatever my Springo call happens to be. And so I can post that one likewise. So here's my board now. I have the 1 bingo, and I am probably, in most cases, in here I'm 2 away from a bingo, but the rest of them, here's a 2 away, and here's a 2 away. And the rest of them, I think, are 3 at least. So there's a lot more room yet to make any bingos, but at least I've got 1. So that's exciting. So that's the stitching I've done so far today. So I have been doing something else today. I've made a gift for my friend Marissa that I'm going to see at my Stitch North. And I don't want to share it yet because I'm going to possibly put this video up right after I leave, or have it scheduled to go up right after I leave, even if it's short, just so it's not quite so long in between. So I'm going to video a separate segment about the gift that I made my friend to just say how much I'm delighted to get to see her again and how much I cherish our friendship. And that way I can save it and I can put it in a future video when I get home. So that's what I'm going to do. Coco just got home and she's sticking her head right in my cross stitch bag to see what's new. And if I have anything in there for her, which I don't. But anyway, I'm going to go now and spend some time with my family and try to finish getting ready to go on our trip. We have a few things left to do today to get that taken care of. And so I'm going to go do that now. And I wish you happy stitching. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Dina, and it is the 20th of April. It's Easter Sunday. Happy Easter. My Easter didn't go as planned today, and I'll tell you about that in a moment, but I want to first talk to you about my stitching. Today's call for Springo was in my G column. It was the number 32, and for me that was in the G column, which is my Royal Games 2. So I had on the 19th number 13, and then on the 22nd, I'm sorry, on the 20th it was number 32. And so you can see here, there's number 13, and then there's today at number 32. So I had these 2 in a row, which is amazing. So I went ahead and pulled this out this morning, and I stitched part of it this morning, and then I finished the other part this evening. So I wound up stitching a little more in here, came on down here, and started filling in around that sleeve right in here until I got to 102 stitches. And then I said, okay, that's good for the cold number, and I'm going to put it away because I leave in the morning on a trip and I had a lot of things to do. But I mentioned that my Easter Sunday wasn't what I had planned. This weekend, starting the night before, Friday night, late as I was headed to bed, I turned off all the lights, and I was using my cell phone light, flashlight to get into bed. And as I was coming around the corner into my bedroom from the kitchen where I had turned all the lights out, I saw little sparkly flashes of light on the left side of my left eye. And I thought, oh, I haven't had my private light show since I had surgery on my cataracts and had new lens put in. And while they're adjusting to the space, and there's closing up around your lens, you can have your own private little light show as light reflects on them as they kind of move a little. And I thought that's what it was, that maybe they were floating, had moved a little, and I just saw a little flash of light because that's what it looked like. So I got up Saturday morning, and I was stitching Saturday morning, and I noticed there was this little, what looked like a hair hanging down over my eye, and I kept reaching up trying to pull that hair, thinking it was a hair that was coming out. And I just needed to get it out from in front of my eye. And I just kept pulling it, and there was nothing there. And I went and I looked in the mirror, and there was nothing hanging down there. And I thought, this is so weird, because that's exactly what it looked like. So my husband and I did some things, went out for lunch, and as we were out and about, I noticed that I didn't see a hair anymore. What I saw was a circle, and it looked like little tentacles coming off of that circle, and then there were little black specks all around. All huge in my eye. And I asked my husband, I said, you've mentioned having floaters in your eye before. What are they like? And so he was telling me, and I said, I don't know if that's what I have or not, but it's very distracting and I can't get rid of it. And I kept looking around, watching it move. I said, I think I may have a really, really big floater. So he started asking me, well, when did this start and what's happening? And so we went online and looked it up, floaters, and I was trying to see if what I was seeing in my eye looked like a floater. And the more we researched it, the more it seemed I might have a tear in my retina. And out of 4 symptoms to watch for, I had 3 of the 4. So I was kind of nervous. But I said, you know what? I don't think it's torn. I think it's a floater, and I'm just going to go on my trip, and it's going to be fine, because I didn't want to deal with it. And that evening, as the floater got bigger and more dense, and I saw lights again, I came upstairs and I started reading about it again. And as I was trying to read, I did like this. And I could tell my vision was blurring in the left eye. And I thought, oh no. So I went online and researched what to do if you have a tear. And it says that quick treatment, like within 24 to 48 hours, is key to keeping your vision. And so there was a sense of urgency to what I had. So I called my eye doctor's phone number, the office number, to see if I could leave a message to ask to be evaluated first thing Monday morning before we leave town. And instead of getting an answer phone, I got the answering service, and the lady, it was a real person. And she was talking with me about it. She said, I was originally asking for an appointment for Monday morning, and she said, I can't make appointments. So she was listening to what I was describing was going on with me, and she said, if you don't mind, they have a doctor on call at your eye doctor's practice, so I think I'd like to call him and talk to him and see if he needs to talk to you. And I said, okay. So we hung up, and she called the doctor, and she called me back, and she said, he wants to talk to you. And I said, okay. She said, he's going to pull up your record, and he's going to call you. So at 10 o'clock, this lovely man called me, and we chatted over the phone. And he said that I could very well have a tear, or it could be a floater, but he felt like he needed to do an eye exam, and that the sooner the better, because he said, I can't do anything for you tonight. He said, but tomorrow I could meet you at the eye doctor's office, where you normally go. And he said, I can do an exam, because if you have a tear, I'll be sending you to a retina specialist for surgery tomorrow on Easter Sunday. I was devastated. Y'all know I'm supposed to be at Stitch North on Thursday. And I told him that. And he said, if you have a tear in your retina, you won't be traveling. You'll be having surgery. And then you can't leave town, because to repair it, they repair it, and then they put a little air bubble behind it, or a gas bubble behind it, to hold it in place. And it causes pressure in the eye, and they don't want you leaving, because they need to monitor you really closely. And so I wouldn't be able to go. I was devastated. I cannot tell you how upset I was. I was so nervous. So I did what I normally do. I started praying, and I just prayed for God's will, of course, but I prayed what I hoped that he would grant me, which was just to have a floater in my eye and not a tear. And I didn't sleep great last night. You know, I was worried. I kept waking up. So this morning, this Dr. Crowley had said to me, if anything changes, if you notice anything different, you call me. I don't care what time it is. You call me. You've got my number now. And I was like, okay. Nothing happened. Nothing changed. And so this morning when he called to check on me and to tell me what time to meet him at the office, he actually said, how are you? How are things this morning with your eye? And I said, well, I actually think that the floater looks a little bit less dense, but maybe that's my wishful thinking. And he said, well, it could be. He said, it could be your brain adjusting to it. Now you're not going to notice it as much. He said, it could be dispensating a little bit. If it's just a floater, that's what it's doing. And he said, but we won't know until, he said, I really think I need to see you. And I said, okay. So I met him at 12:30 today. And the good news is I don't have a tear. Thank you, Lord. I don't have a tear. And so I just have a massive floater in my eye. He was so funny. He said, that is a big one. He said, that is really a large floater. He looked really hard to make sure I hadn't had a blood vessel rupture or anything else. And he said, but no evidence of any tears anywhere. He looked all around. He actually examined both eyes. He gave me permission to travel, told me just to be careful, and if anything changes, if I have anything that happens, hey baby, to get to an eye specialist immediately and be treated. But no worries. I have no high risk or anything like that. It's just a floater, which kind of comes with age, I understand. But just my PSA to you, if you have trouble with your eyes, if you notice changes in your eyes, but especially if you notice a darkness coming from either side, from the top down or the bottom up, that looks like a little curtain closing off your vision, go immediately and see your eye doctor, because that is the one thing I didn't have that would have nailed it as a tear. And that's what has to be corrected immediately. So thank you that I don't have that. I'm very grateful that I don't have that. Coco standing right here next to me. She's been right by my side ever since I got upset about thinking that I might have a tear. She could sense it. They sense when you're nervous. They sense when you're anxious. They sense your feelings. And she has been right next to me. She went outside with Tommy today, working with him in the garage. And he said she couldn't stand it. She kept wanting to get back in with me. And that's not usual. She loves him, wants to be with him at all times. And she came right back in, and she was laying in my lap, touching me, wanting to hug up against me. So I couldn't do a whole lot today because they dilated, Dr. Crowley dilated my eyes. And couldn't see. Couldn't see well. Now, that's gotten better, and I'm fine now as far as I can see to stitch, but I had to use readers this evening to get my stitching done. But that's all the stitching I was able to get done today, was those 102 stitches. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful I can still see to stitch. We take that for granted, you know, we really do. But anyway, this precious girl still by my side. I am ready. I'm ready to pack what little bit I have left, which is really just our snack food that's in the fridge, you know, that we might take to eat in the morning. And we'll be taking this precious little girl to our dog sitter first thing in the morning. She doesn't know yet. We haven't told her yet. She would be too excited. But I can't tell you how relieved I am and how excited I am that I get to go with my husband. We were really close to thinking we might have to cancel this trip, and I really want to go. I really want to go to Stitch North, but I also really, really want to go with him to Niagara Falls and to the museum in Detroit on the way home, and to the cross-stitch stores on the way home. So I'm very grateful that we get to do this little drive-in tour. So pray for our safe travels. I'm going to try to get this video up before I leave. I'm not promising. That would take me some time tonight. But I'm packed. I'm ready to go. So I may take the time now and put it up, even if it's short, just so I can say to you, have a great week of stitching. I probably will be 2 weeks before I record again, or, you know, give you what I've been recording as I travel. But just know that I'm enjoying it, and I'll be sharing it with you all the way. In the meantime, happy stitching, everybody, and happy Easter.